Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to solve multi-step inequalities. This is very similar to solving multi-step equations. So solving multi-step inequalities is very similar to solving multi-step equations. Let's fill in our notes. Okay, except the only difference is that you have an inequality symbol instead of an equal sign. So in the last unit, we solved equations, so we had equal signs. Okay, but now in inequality, we're going to have the less than sign or less than equal to, and the greater than sign and greater than or equal to. Okay, so we're going to be actually solving inequalities. All right, so remember from last year, when you multiply or you divide by a negative, all right, there was a very important rule that we had last year: multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the inequality sign. Okay, what that means is if you have a less than sign and you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you're going to have to turn it into the greater than sign. And the same works for a less than or equal to. It would turn into a greater than or equal to. We flip the sign around. When we're graphing on a number line, we use an open dot if the sign is greater than or less than. So if I had, for instance, x is greater than 1, all right, here's 0, here's 1, greater than would be a open circle and it would go to the right. Okay, but if it was x is greater than or equal to 1, that symbol would be colored in like that. Okay, it would have our arrow going to the right. Okay, we will be solving special cases. So if we solve an inequality and we create a true statement, just like when we solved equations, okay, your solution is going to be all real numbers. Okay, and if you solve an inequality and you create a false statement, okay, it's going to be no solution. Okay, so let's jump right in and start solving some inequalities. So we're going to follow the same rules that we did for equations. We're going to think of DC MAM. All right, M-A-M. We're going to start off and we're going to distribute. Well, number one, there's no distributing. So we're going to combine like terms. So we're going to stay on either side of the equal sign, the inequality symbol. So -1 and -6 would be a -7. So we would end up with -6 minus 7 is greater than -11 minus 7x. When we move the variable to the other side, we're going to actually add 7x to both sides. And when we do that, we get x minus 7 is greater than -11. We then add or subtract the constant. Okay, and our final answer is x is greater than -4. Okay, so it's greater than -4. We're going to go to our number line and we go to where -4 is. It's greater than, so it's an open circle. And it's going to go to the right because it's all numbers greater than. All numbers greater than would be to the right. Okay, so we are able to actually check our answers using Desmos. Okay, you could check any value to the right or underneath the number line and see if it's a true statement, or we can use Desmos. I'm going to just show you, do a quick check and show you how to use Desmos right here. So let's pull up Desmos and go here. Okay, so Desmos should be right in this tab. Okay, let me just line it up for you here so you can see it. Okay, let me see. Make sure it's a little bigger here. Okay, this is not cooperating. There we go. Okay, I got to make my screen a little bit bigger. Nope, that's not going to work. Let's make this Desmos screen smaller. Nope, don't like that either. Okay, well, let's try it from here. So it's just a little shot of the image here. Right here is where I'm going to put in the actual inequality. So I'm going to put in my -1. All right. Oh, I wish I could make it. There we go. All right, so I've got a -1. Okay, minus 6x, minus 6, and notice my x is here, minus 6. Okay, and that's going to be greater than, okay, -11. Okay, minus 7x. All right, so notice with this, if you look at the number line here, my -4, because this is, we've got -2, -4. Okay guys, moving on to the next example, you can see I've already distributed. So I've got -5n plus 6 is greater than or equal to -35n plus 42 minus 6n. When I combine my like terms, I've got -5n plus 6 is greater than or equal to -41. Get my pen here, -41n plus 42. Okay, and then I'm going to add my 41n to move the variable. Okay, and when I do that, I end up with 36n plus 6 is greater than or equal to 42. I then subtract my 6 from both sides, and I've got 36n is greater than or equal to 36. Okay, I then divide by 36, and my n is greater than or equal to 1. So I'm going to go to 1 on the number line, and it's going to be a colored in circle because it's greater than or equal to, and it's going to go to the right. Okay, again, you can put this whole thing into Desmos. If you do put it into Desmos to check it, please keep in mind that you need to, instead of using the variable n, you need to replace your n's with x's. Okay, so do it with the variable x. All right, moving on to number 3. 6 minus 24n minus 28 is greater than or equal to 122. Okay, when we combine our like terms, we've got 6, well, we've distributed, so now we're going to get negative 24n. Whoops. So 6 minus 28, okay, is going to be a negative 22. So this is negative 24n minus 22 is greater than or equal to 122. And then I'm going to add my 22 to both sides here. And when I do that, okay, I get negative 24n is greater than or equal to 144. This is where you've got to be really careful, I am dividing both sides by a negative. So at this point, instead of greater than or equal to, I'm going to flip the sign, and n is going to be less than or equal to negative 6. Okay, so I go to negative 6, and it's less than or equal to, so it's going to be colored in circle, and it's going to go to the left. Okay, again, you can check the whole thing on Desmos right here, replacing your n's with x's. All right, so at this point, it'd be a good time for you to pause the video and try number 4 on your own and see how you do, and then just start playing it again, and I'll go on from here. So I'm going to subtract 8a from both sides, and when I do that, I get a minus 8a is negative 7a, minus 6 is less than 15. I add 6 to both sides. Negative 7a is less than 21. And then again, now I'm dividing by a negative, so I've got to flip the sign. A is going to be greater than negative 3. So I go to negative 3 on the number line. It's an open circle, and it's greater than, so it's going to go to the right. Okay, let's talk about a couple of the special cases. So if I distribute here, I've got 3 minus 6x is greater than 3 minus 6x. Okay, I'm going to add my 6x to both sides to move the variable. And when I do that, I end up with 3 is greater than 3 because both of those cancel out. Well, that's a false statement. If it said it was greater than or equal to, that would be true, but it is false. So therefore, there's no solution. Okay, and on Desmos, if you check it, no solution shouldn't have anything graphed. So you should just have a blank screen there. So that's how you can check it there. Number 6, when we distribute, we've got negative 10 minus 12n is less than 48 minus 12n. When I add my 12n to both sides of the equation, I end up with 10 is less than negative 10 is less than 48. That is a true statement, so I know that my solution is all real numbers, okay? And again, if I graphed that, I could see that the whole screen would be shaded in, so that's how we can graph that. All right, moving on to the next one, we've got number 7, okay? If you could look at number 7 and try number 7 and 8 on your own, okay? I want you to do that, and then for the rest of them, just go back and try them, and then check with the answer key that's out on student view, okay? So out on the class website, just compare it.